Rodan. Ghidorah.
Oh my. They're moving like a pack. They're hunting. They all respond directly to an alpha. We stop this Ghidorah. We stop them all.
Is there another creature that might stand a chance against him?
My God. Zilla.
Our planet will perish. And so will we. Unless we set Godzilla free.
Oh, yes.
Aloha! This is Trinidad the Island Man, your Island Man, coming to you from live Hawaii here on the island of Oahu, bringing you, yes you, the best movie reviews on the entire island of Oahu. And today I am bringing you my review of Godzilla, the King of the Monsters. I was really excited for this movie, and I really, you know what? Hey, forget it. I don't want to do this. Forget it. That's it. That's pat it. Can't believe they messed. Aloha, this is Trinidad, the Island Man, your Island Man. Again, back here in Hawaii on the island of Oahu, bringing you, yes you, the best movie reviews on the entire island of Oahu. And this is my review of Godzilla, the King of the Monsters. Remember our rating scale, shock a thumbs up. It's good to see, I recommend it. Shock a thumbs down. It's bad to see, it's junk. I don't recommend it. And overall, for Godzilla, the King of the Monsters, it is a shock a thumbs down. Look. You know, I just got to tell you, this movie, I had really high hopes for this movie. I was really waiting for this movie for a long time, ever since I had seen King Kong. You know, I was not impressed with the first Godzilla movie, the 2014 version, and this is a direct continuation of that movie. You know, 5 years later, we find out that the Monarch company organization is a worldwide organization with long-stretching, you know, fingers reached into the pot of these titans, these monsters that were once worshipped throughout the movies, well, throughout the world. You know, everything from Godzilla to all these other ones, these myths and legends, even the legend of Monster Zero, who does make an appearance in this movie, or better known as King Gidorha. Well, but again, it is ultimately a shock a thumbs down. This movie stars a lot of people who are okay actors in this. I will give out a shout out to Ken Watanabe, who reprises his role from the 2014 film, who is the only linkage from the very first Godzilla movie back in 2014 that, you know, solidifies Monarch and attaches it to, you know, King Kong, and then now this movie. And he does a good job. He's a great actor, as all of you know. And it's just a shame that he was in this movie. Well, his parts are okay. Everyone who acts in this movie, and I don't have their names because honestly, I didn't care about any of these people in the movie. And that is ultimately why it is a shock a thumbs down. And you would think that they had learned their lesson from the 2014 Godzilla movie, where it's like this story of this soldier and his family and oh, you know, and the backdrop of the world, and what are they going to do with Godzilla and these creatures stomping around? Oh, you know what? Oh, there goes Tokyo. There goes Godzilla. That's what I want to see. That's what I'm paying my money to go see. Is Godzilla stomping around stuff and fighting these great monsters. This is teased. We have the mega fight here. Godzilla versus King Gidorha, along with Rodan, Mothra, all these other monsters that awaken these titans throughout the world. We want to see this big fight that, not just Godzilla against a couple of cockroaches in 2014, 5 minutes here, 5 minutes there, and then the movie's over. Because they go ahead and they keep cutting to this family and their soldiers. Here you get maybe 10 minutes of the fight, of Godzilla and King Gidorha. You get like the longest fight with Mothra and Rodan in this movie. Then you get a straight fight with King Gidorha and Godzilla. Without them cutting always back and forth to, the humans the soldiers got to escape. These scientists, they got to escape. They got to run away from Godzilla. It's like, keep the camera on Godzilla. To paraphrase, that movie with Woody Harrelson, where he's playing Larry Flint, shoot the something there, shoot that. That is what you're shooting. Don't shoot the flowers. Don't shoot this sunrise. Shoot the pussy. That's what you're supposed to be shooting. Don't freaking shoot Godzilla. That's, keep your freaking camera on Godzilla and the fight. You spent a lot of money for this fight scene with King Gidorha and Godzilla. And why are you cutting back and forth, intermixing these people in it? Show the people running away. That's all I need to see. Do a big solid fight scene like they did in Pacific Rim 1. Right now, that's the best kaiju monster movie that we've gotten on the screen so far from, the United States. I don't know why they do this. They say, we want to build this story. And there is a decent story. There is a little bit of an elaborate plot that goes on. Evil guys want to come in and take over these monsters and control the monsters. Very similar to what we had seen before in previous, Toho Godzilla movies, another entity coming over to control the monsters for their own bidding and take over the world. Something very similar like that happens in this one. Those of the Monarch Corporation are, mainly benevolent with these monsters. They care about these monsters. They want they feel that the monsters being on the earth is going to balance out things with the humans, kind of re-establish the ecosystem and redo a lot of the damage that humans have done to the planet. This terrorist organization, these evil bad guys that wish to control the monsters, they want to take it that step further and pretty much eradicate a lot of the people, thinking that that's how it's going to bring it back into the eco balance. Whereas the Monarch guys say, no, if we learn to live in peace with Godzilla and him with us and all these other monsters, then we can finally, live in peace with the planet. Basically, it is, the, allegory of, Godzilla's the planet, him being angry is the planet angry at us for all the pollution and stuff that we have thrown onto this planet. So if they follow suit like this, potentially there could be a smog monster movie, which I would be up for. The next one in line after this movie is Godzilla versus King Kong. King Kong is referenced in this movie. So it is tied to Godzilla 2014, King Kong, and this movie, and then now coming in the future, Godzilla versus King Kong. But I fear that because, again, they fumble so much with displaying Godzilla and the great fight scenes that they set up and that they could have done, you know, a lot of it is just wasted on these actors and actresses, which are okay, but it's not why I, or maybe even you as a fan of Godzilla, is going to go and see. You know, from all of the Toho ones, there were always, like, a good half of the movie was always, you know, they're setting up these human guys, you know, some military, the Japanese Defense Force, to either fight Godzilla, stop Godzilla from stomping on Tokyo, maybe even move towards, you know, helping Godzilla or fighting against another monster, etc. But then, in at least the last half or the third act of the movie, you got a full, you know, maybe 20, 30 minutes of Godzilla duking it out with the monster. And in this one, again, just like the 2014, you get cuts and pieces. You never really get a full satisfying fight or conclusion. There's always, oh, you cut away to somebody, oh my goodness, look what happened to Godzilla. No, I can't look because you're making me look at these actors. I want to see Godzilla and what's going on with him. What are you doing to this movie? So right now, it stands at a 90% Rotten Tomato, which is pretty good. I believe that it's probably going to go lower as more people see this and become frustrated like they did with the very first 2014 Godzilla movie. They try to do their best putting in little references. There are references to the, you know, to the princesses or the queens that worship Mothra and kind of controlled them. And we find out that that's why this organization is called the Monarch organization, because this is made by rich old money from these royalties, you know, the royalty that was, you know, from Toho, who, you know, the women, the princesses, those little tiny midgets, you know, almost sprite-like, fairy-like beings that could control Mothra and had an affinity with the earth. And we get some of their descendants in this movie and reference to that, which is a nice nod to Toho and the overall backstory of Godzilla and all the rest of the monsters in this world. It's just that, you know, like they say in the trailer, this is Godzilla's world and we're living in it. Then I just want to see Godzilla. You know, why was it that in King Kong we got a lot more fight scenes than, you know, than cutaways? I mean, yes, there was some cutaways with, you know, Brie Larson, you know, running away from Godzilla, you know, same thing with Loki's guy, you know, running away from Godzilla, Samuel L. Jackson. But mainly, especially during the fights and the final fight, it was pretty much all focused on Godzilla. Or I'm sorry, focused on King Kong versus these alligator-like creatures. But in this one, unfortunately, they cut away from Godzilla far too much. Again, very reminiscent of the 2014. I don't understand why they do it. There's no need to do it, you know. And as a hardcore fan of Godzilla, you know, all my life, at least as long as I have been a Marvel fan, you know, to the comics, you know, I have, you know, when I was a little kid, my mom would give me money and I would go to the same little tiny theater that she went to, the Fox Theater downtown, two screen theater, you know, for the matinee. And every Saturday, me and a whole host of audience members who were all kids would come in and watch an old classic Godzilla movie. You know, Monster Island, you know, Jet Jaguar and Godzilla, you name it, we would watch it, and we were satisfied for the whole weekend after that. That's all that we're asking for again. Warner Brothers, what are you doing with this Godzilla, franchise that you're screwing up? I hope that this time they listen, and for King Kong versus Godzilla, Godzilla versus King Kong, if they haven't screwed over their chances already because of the lack of Godzilla coverage in this movie, that they correct their course and do much, much better for the next time around. Show us Godzilla. You're with Legendary doing these effects. Look at what they did for Pacific Rim. Look at what Del Toro did for showing off those fight scenes with the Jaegers versus the Kaiju. Show us the whole fight scene. Don't freaking, a clip here, move over to these people, and then move back to the fight scene. No, do the whole freaking fight scene, man. That's what we want to see. That's what I'm paying my money for. Do it. Or else I'm not seeing any more of these. I'm sorry. I love Godzilla. I'll watch more of the Japanese ones. The Shin versus Godzilla one, I paid money to see it in the theater when it came here on the Phantom events, and I'll do it again. But I'm not sure now with the Warner Brothers Godzilla franchise. I don't know. And they're going to have to really knock my socks off in this trailer for Godzilla versus King Kong, or else I'm out. All right. So again, shock a thumbs down ultimately, unfortunately, for Godzilla, the king of the monsters. They botch several good ideas in this movie, a really nice story and setup that they should have just, that they could have done, that they should have done, but just, anything on the cutting room floor should have just been the people and the actors, and it should have just went over more towards, Godzilla, Mothra, Rodan, King Gidorha, even some of these other monsters that pop up throughout the world. Maybe even show King Kong, instead of just name dropping him and Skull Island. I don't know. But they do add to the mythology of the world. They do add to the history of the monster world in this. So it is not totally without merit. And for that, I would say if you're going to watch this, I'd say just watch it at the $6 at Regal on Tuesday, $7 on Tuesday at Consolidated, or wait until streaming. Just because of that. If you're going in there as a hardcore Godzilla fan, looking to watch him duke it out with all these other monsters, you're going to be disappointed. I don't know if you'll be as disappointed as me, but you will be disappointed. So again, shock and thumbs down, ultimately, for Godzilla, the King of Monsters. Hopefully they can do better next time, if they haven't screwed it up too bad to move on after this iteration. All right, thank you so much. This is Trinidad the Island Man, your Island Man, here on Oahu, in Hawaii, saying aloha and mahalo.